Hello, welcome. Welcome to our first episode. I am your host, Bo Bell. On this show, our goals is to inform you, inspire you, and educate you on current events, everything that's going on in sports, and also give you some motivation, right? And direction. That's the goal. Our first topic for our first episode is the love for the love of the game. Hey, I know you guys watched NFL Sunday. I saw that was a heck of a game, man. Philly pulled it out. Kansas City pulled it out. And it's for the first time in a long time. I don't know if it's ever happened. We're going to have two black quarterbacks in the Super Bowl. That's amazing. I'm just so excited to see that game. Now, a lot of people are excited, but most people don't know what it takes to get to that point. In any sport, right? There's a sacrifice that all of these guys has put in to get to that point, and it's just, it takes what it takes. And they're there because they made those sacrifices. They left the millions of dollars at the door with the egos. They left for each and every one of those guys. That's why they were in that situation. And they all have bought into something that is good for everyone in that locker room. So it's no coincidence that both of these teams are in the Super Bowl, even though Kansas City has been there before, and it probably has the best quarterback that we've seen in ages in Mahomes. But I tell you what, the story behind this kid, Jalen Hurts, and everything that he went to, I'm so happy for this dude, man. I'm so happy for him because he came from a place where he could have quit. He had a choice. He had a choice to quit the game, right? And guess what? He stood up. He stayed in. And so you can't win if you're not in. And he stayed in there and he fought for it. What can you say about a person like that? That's a different type of dude. That's a different type of mindset. That's a different type of want. And that's a different type of will. He has it. He got it. And let me tell you, for me, I'm going with Philly, man, just because of this kid, Jalen Hurts. And I just feel like God has this shadow over this young man, right? It's because he's protecting him and he's showing the world. He's showing the world if you fight and you believe and you stay in to what it is, even when things look dark, even when things don't look like they're in your favor, when you stay in place, God will do the rest. And I'm for sure that he lay his hat on that every single day. And he prayed, and he believed. Because work without faith is dead. And this guy has done an amazing job, elevated himself, but not only that, he's elevating other people. He's elevating other people. And that's a whole different level. And the energy that he brings comes through to everybody that's around him. That's an amazing individual, an amazing person. So that's why, for me, I'm taking Philly, man. I'm going with Philly because Jalen Hurts, that's my guy. I really, really love what this man is all about. And you're going to see a great game.
That's interesting. I'm not a football guy, but I saw this video with him. It was him. They had him, Michael Vick, and Michael Vick and Donovan McNabb. And I had never heard this guy speak before. He's so humble. Like, he's such a humble dude. It's interesting. So.
Yeah, and it's an inside job with him, right? Some people, they're working from the outside. I just know when you go inside and you touch into that inner self, man, that's a powerful thing. And when you touch into that and it translates, it comes on the outside. And so he's a special human being because he's tapped in on the inside and brought out the best version of himself, which situations does that. If you have a choice when things don't go well to be a victim or be a victor. He made the decision to be a victor regardless of the circumstances. Look where he's at. That could be you, no matter what. That could be you, right? Whether you're in the classroom, corporate America, You make that choice and fight for it and believe for it. Now, when you pray for it, you got to believe for it. That's the fact. And it can happen. All things are possible. All things are possible through God. Believe in that.
That's true. That's true. So, man, what you got? You been following NBA lately, keeping up with the NBA games, with the All-Star selections?
Yes. So I've been keeping up with the NBA. The thing that stands out to me the most about the NBA is LeBron James. 20 years in the league. The guy's playing like he just came in the league 3 years. He only been in the league 3 years.
Right.
You can't even tell a difference in 15 years ago until now. He's playing with that same desire, that same passion, that same mindset. Here's the separation. I would never forget. I went to LA and I saw Carmelo Anthony. You know, him and LeBron, they was actually playing a game together. So what I saw, witnessed, and they was young guys at that time. I witnessed this myself. Carmelo Anthony had his people go bring him McDonald's before the game. LeBron had his people bring him fruit, salads, and water for the game.
That's a difference.
So my point is, Carmelo is no longer in the league. Now remember, they started off at the same time. Mm-hmm. Carmelo really just got in shape the last 5 or 10 years. He really played his whole career not in the best shape of his life. The last 5 or 6 years, Carmelo just got in the best shape of his life. But my point is this. The earlier you start to put in the right things in your body, not just food, the right thoughts, right? The right foods, of course, but the right thoughts, the right fuel, right? And you driving, you pushing. What that does, and you have the talent and the skills to go with that, and you got the right mindset, you get a LeBron James for 20 years. Your body is like a machine. What you put in it, guess what? It's going to respond to it. It's like a car. If you put bad gas in the car, what's going to happen? It's going to go down. At some point, you're going to have some issues, right? So this guy has started taking care of his body years ago. That's why he's in this shape and is able to do the things that he's able to do. And also, the man spent $1 million a year on his body alone. He spent $1 million taking care of his body. And look, that's what you get. It's real. If you all in, you all in. See, that to me, that's the difference between a pro and a professional. I think Carmelo has been, I want to tell you, he has been a pro. He just started 5, 6, 7 years to be a professional because he wanted to maintain longevity. LeBron, the way he did things from the beginning is rewarding him at the end because he took care of his body, he took care of his mind. And guess what? You never really heard a lot of things about this guy, man. Mm-hmm. He's always with his family. That's the type of person, right? You can say what you want. You got the LeBron hater. Oh, I don't like him. He flop. He do this. He do that. He do that. But if you saw that last game against Boston, that was an obvious foul that should have been called.
Right.
That was an obvious foul that should have been called. So that's what, I'm on, watching this guy. He's going to end up breaking Kareem's record. He's going to be the leading scorer in the history of the game. Guy came out of high school. So that's a big difference.
I know, I'm a little younger, I'm in my 40s, but I remember Kareem playing at the end of his career. And even though he was still scoring and he played for 20 years, he wasn't peak Kareem. He was just kind of there. He still would get 10, maybe 12 points a game. LeBron is still playing at the highest level at this age in 20 years. That's just crazy.
I know, man. And it's amazing because, and I think part of why he's doing that so late into his career, as opposed to like some of the other players, like Kareem and some of the other guys that, even Jordan. Jordan wasn't doing what this boy's doing at the end of his career, right? Nobody played as long as has been more effective. But I think the biggest reason is kind of what I talked about earlier is you got technology now. You got all these different things that allow these guys to keep their body stimulated. You know, these machines and different type of things. These crowd therapy. They got all time. They have access. If you got money, you got access to some of the best technology in the world that can preserve. And I'm not saying make you younger. It can make you older. Some of this stuff, but I'm saying to preserve. And that's what he's taking advantage of. And that's why this man spent $1 million a year on their body. I think had Kareem, I think if they had some of the technology, Kareem and those guys, I think if Jordan had some of the technology that these guys have access to, I could see Jordan perhaps doing the same thing. So, and then, you know, LeBron, he get hurt, but he get hurt every now and then. He get hurt. This boy played. He played these games, and he playing 30 or more minutes every game. It's not like he's sitting over there mailing it in. So there's a driven, and look, it's not about money for him. True. It's for the love of the game.
True.
This man loved the game.
Yeah, I've seen some of the stuff I've seen him do. You know, it just doesn't make sense that he's still, and his kids look like his sons are coming right behind him. Look at that! Oh my God!
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's been working out like this for years.
Yes, and that's what make him special.
And there you go. And eating too. The eating is important.
Eating the right stuff, man. The diet is so important. Look, the machine, everything I just talked about. Cryotherapy. Yeah. All of that technology, it helps. It works, bro. It works. This is no joke. This is real. And so, and I can say truly myself, at my age right now, all the things that he do, I do myself right now. And that's why I'm able to preserve my diet, my exercise. I even do the crowd therapy. I do the massages. I go do chiropractors. Everything that I can do that's affordable to me right now, I do it.
So
that's what I'm talking about.
You get in those cryo chambers?
Yes.
How that feel? Like, does it feel like, is it like really, really cold? Or is it more, is it pain?
Man, it goes like 200 or 300 degrees below zero. And it's like, you can't stand there like sometimes more than 3 minutes.
I don't understand how that don't affect your body. Like, how it don't like immediately freeze you or something.
Well, it freezes. What it does, it freezes. You know, like they put heat on you. Think about it. When you put the heat and then you put the ice on your body, right? What it does, it freezes it, and then what it does, it gives you that flow, that blood flow. It increase the blood flow. So it kind of gives you new blood going through your body.
Okay. Yeah, it definitely helped. I mean, whatever works is definitely working for him. So I'm looking forward to watching him pass that scoring record of Kareem. You think he'll still last long enough for his son to play with him in 2 more years?
That's a great question. Possibly, because like at the rate he's going, understanding the importance of taking care of himself, taking care of his body. I don't see why. I don't see why. I don't see why he can't play 3, 4 more, 5 more years. And you know, at some point, no matter what you do, Father Time is going to kick in.
True.
And say, okay, you had enough. And then the body is going to start just breaking down, you know, and perhaps not. But maybe he'll stop before then. But I tell you what, at this stage of the game, 20 years in the league, doing the same thing he's been doing since he's been in the league has never been done.
Right.
It has never been done.
What are some of the things it take though, like just to keep that going? I know you play professionally, so like just mentally, like what are some of the things it take to be a pro?
Well, the first thing you gotta have what I call purpose, self-purpose, right? You have to have a different type of mindset where you understand what's important to you, what's going to make your engine go, starting with how you think. So what he has done, he has mastered controlling his thoughts and what he wants. And guess what? He put it in action. Like a lot of people talk about it, but they don't live it. They're not doing it. And so he is in his thoughts, he already processed what he wants to do, and he's doing what it takes because it takes what it takes. Diet, sleep, hydration, exercise. Diet, sleep, dehydration, exercise. That right there. So all those things right there, he take care of that. And then when you got the right mindset along with that, where you feeding yourself the right stuff to keep you stimulated, keep you motivated, that's what goes into it. That's what goes, and that's what it takes. And what's going to happen, even when he's done playing, he's going to be able to walk away from the game, and he's still going to be walking around, like, I'm good. Because of how he's taking care of his body early. See, when you do all that stuff early, when it becomes late, now you're going to preserve, you're going to be in good shape, you're going to be in good spirit. And then guess what? This dude's going to be the leading scorer that ever played this game, right? He's going to make history. So therefore, he's going to bypass Jordan. I don't care what nobody say.
Really?
Yes, he's going to bypass Jordan as the greatest player ever.
Hold on. That's blasphemy. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Yes. I truly believe if he passed Kareem's scoring record, he's going to be the greatest player to ever play the game. 20 years now.
So is this just based on, if you take the longevity out of that, I mean, you basing this on overall just as a player, or?
I'm basing it on overall approach. I'm basing it on overall consistency. Like everywhere he went, he elevated teams. I'm putting it on 20 years doing the same thing. Make him greater than Jordan. 20 years doing the same thing. Even Jordan, man, what Jordan did, 14, 15, how many years he did? 12, 13, 14 years? Even Jordan, when he went to Washington, a lot of the things that he did was predicated on how high he jumped. Think about it. Because then when he shot his jump shot, he went so high off the floor to shoot, man.
Right.
So my point is this, right? And then when he went up the dunk, he was off the floor. The higher you go up, right, the harder you come down.
Right.
The ground is undefeated, bro. and so Jordan, he had started having problems with his knees. Right? So my point is, if you look at it, LeBron don't dunk as much. LeBron don't jump high on his jump shot. So he preserving. So his game was more efficient. And so that's one of the reasons why he was able to play so long and to be effective during this time. At this stage of the game, where you got some of the most talented, most athletic players that ever played this game that's playing this game right now. Like these players, some of these kids are so talented, naturally talented. But if they adopted the players that adopt LeBron mindset of today's game, it's going to take this game somewhere, like it's going to take this game in orbit. Because if LeBron can do it, because of his routine, it was his routine that put him in that situation. His mind, his body, and his soul. That's it.
Yeah.
Mind, body, and soul connected with his athletic gifts. Period. That's it. And he connected with that, and he stayed with that, and he was consistent with that, and he didn't deviate from that. And that's why he's in position to be the greatest player that ever played this game.
True. You feel a lot of these players today, do you feel like there's a difference with, what do you feel some of the main differences are, with the younger players?
Well, it starts early, man. Like AAU, start all with AAU high school, grade school basketball. All these kids have a sense of entitlement. They don't
Yeah.
they don't earn anything. Everybody's giving them everything. They tell them how good they are, right? And they haven't even done anything. So a lot of them, once they start thinking that they are better than what they are, some of them don't feel like they need to work as hard. Like, for example, they ranking kids second, third grade. This kid is in conception stage. He gonna be the number one player in the country when he come out the womb, right? And they ranking kids. So now they stamping kids as the number one player in the country. So the emphasis in being the number one player, not the work. And so what happens is psychologically with the kids that do have the talent, because I've seen kids with the talent at an early age quit the sport because they didn't want that pressure. They didn't want that heat. I'm the number one player, so every time I show up at a tournament, you're talking about a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old kid. I got to be this type of guy because everybody looking to see me. So that's pressure, indirectly or directly. And the kids just got to have fun. They got to have fun, and that's where it starts. So now as they grow, everybody tell them how good they are. So they don't feel like they have to work as hard. And so that's big. That's a big issue in terms of today's game, as opposed to the way that the game used to be. And the kids that, now they talent, and a lot of them just really, it's just natural gifted talent that they draw it from. They ain't putting in the work like LeBron is putting in, some of them. They're not doing, they don't have those type of routine, some of them. Quite a few of them do. The ones that do, you know it, you can see it. But the league is in good hand in terms of talent, but I just think that we have to get back to the basics, because that's part of the reason a lot of European players are coming here to America and pretty much taking over.
Yeah.
Taking over the league.
Yeah, you got Luka right now. Luka,
Yes.
Joker been MVP 2 years straight. I still don't understand that, but okay.
Well, what is it that you don't understand about that though? Like Joker being MVP, what is it that you don't understand about that?
I feel there's players that's better than him. I feel like there are players who accomplish more than him on a full game standpoint.
Got it. So my thing is, what is the definition of MVP, right? First of all, because you got all these different people, these journalists and who making these decisions, who has these votes. And so they're making these decisions and they're not basketball people. That's one. Number two, my definition of a most valuable player is, okay, you possess all the necessary skills that elevate your teammates.
Okay.
To elevate your teammates. So what makes him my MVP, and I think is well deserving, is because there's no athleticism involved with what he does. None.
That's a good point.
Yes. No athleticism involved. Two, his basketball IQ is off the rockers. Like he 3 and 4 and 5 steps ahead of everybody else. That's why he's able to make those passes. So he processing the game like slow motion. 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. He can shoot the ball. He can shoot 3. So now you got to come out. So if you head fake, he go by you. He gonna either score it or he gonna make the right play. If you get it inside, it's a bucket or it's a foul. So you're almost unguardable, with the fact that he elevating all his teammates, because he's a willing passer, gifted, willing passer. That's a dangerous combination at 7 feet, 6'11", 7 feet, with all those tools. There's nobody in the NBA has all the things that he has, and I think that's why he's the most valuable player.
I feel like them two. I feel like some of that stuff leans more towards Luka than Joker, a little bit. I mean, I know Dallas don't have the success that Utah has, but I don't know. It just feels like Luka is a better all-around player, in my opinion, than Joker. When you talk about MVP, like the most to be like back in the day, I used to always feel like Kevin Garnett should have always been MVP. Because to me, your most valuable player, if you take that person off that team is a lottery team. I feel like Utah still got some other people. I know where you're getting at from the standpoint of his skill level.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well, here's the thing. The advantage that players like Luka and Joker have is one, that they had an opportunity to play professional basketball at 14, 15 years old.
True.
So they play with older guys.
Okay.
The other advantage that they have is in Europe, they play the game on the ground. Like everything is predicated on the ground. It's not in the air as much. You know, they don't care about a dunk. You know, everybody like to see it. But at the end of the day, the game is still played on the ground. And so what they have done, they have mastered the basics, but they have mastered playing the game on the ground. Because when we went up in the air, they stayed on the ground. And another point I want to make is this. Luka, he can rebound sometimes. Luka, he can assist the ball. He can score the ball all three levels. But Joker filling up them boxes every night. Assisting, rebound, and scoring every night. He filling up the boxes. There's probably not many people got more triple doubles than he does right now. And he's doing that like it's effortless because he's processing the game in slow motion. Because it don't look fancy, it doesn't look good. And I agree with you with the Kevin Garnett, right? But in terms of elevating your team, Kevin Garnett could have been an MVP in a conversation. But in today's game, I don't think so. It's just different. You know, he bring the toughness, the team to come around. He bring those guys together and they win. But I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying that because of the way that the game is going today, the guys that's coming from Europe, right? Game is more impactful for the whole team than it was for some of the players, the great players back in the day. And LeBron James has always possessed those qualities.
So what are they going to do here? Like, you know, in America, what can they, because it starts at AAU. High school basketball really, at this point, doesn't even mean anything anymore in America. So what can be done in AAU to catch these kids up to what, you know, is going on in Europe?
I mean, personally, I've been talking about this since I retired, man. Since I saw it with my own eyes what they was doing. You know, guys 7 feet, 8 feet tall over there. Everybody doing the same drills. We're no teaching them to the back to the basket. Everybody dribble, pass, and shoot. That's why every guy you see that come over here, they can shoot. Whether they 8 feet, 2 feet, it doesn't matter. The thing that we have to do here in America, starting with our grassroots, we have to get back to the basics and master the basics. That's what we have to do from the grassroots on up. And also emphasize team play. Team play. It's more individuals play now because kids are watching TV. They're watching these guys perform, but they don't know that how much work these guys put in to do that. And then some of these guys are really, really special. Not saying that some of these kids can't be special, but just know every year it's 60 new players coming into the NBA. It's only 400 and some jobs.
Yeah.
And you got millions of guys playing the game. So I truly believe it's going to start at grassroots. With our coaches, we'll start with our coaches. We have a responsibility. If you sign up for coaching these kids, man, you got to go and get the information that's going to help them develop. And so that they can maximize their potential the right way with the way that the game is going. Not what you're watching. Because look, 5-10 years from now, the game ain't going to be the way that you see it, perhaps not. They probably going to expand the floor. They're probably going to lift the baskets up. You know, it's not going to be the same. It's going to almost be impossible because guys are shooting this ball, man, from 45 feet, bro. Can you imagine when people on and making shots? That's almost like, it's like you throwing darts. People don't realize how hard it is to make that little basket, and guys make it look easy.
Right, they do.
You see what I'm saying? It's like throwing a dart into that bullseye.
But it's money driven now. Like over in America, everything with AAU is it's based on money. You got the shoe contracts, you got the EYBL leagues, like, Nike's probably the biggest league here. And it's a farm league for them to have, they want to tap into superstars early so they can get that money from them. That's how them NIL deals got passed, with NCAA. Nike want to grab a hold of these athletes early because we want you to be a Nike athlete if you go pro. And so it's even if it's not based on a kid who's a superstar, even the mid-level and lower level kids, these AAU programs, especially here, like, we see it here in Atlanta, New York, DC, it's about the money. So they focus on money where the kids are in Europe are just playing. The kids over here are being shifted around based on how much money an AAU director can make.
And you hitting it dead on the head. You hitting it dead on the head. And that's why I was saying that there's got to be some type of system in place, right? For grassroots. And there should be some type of coaching qualifications for coaches that's working with our kids, that's really into development, because the economics is going to always be there. Mm-hmm. Let's just face that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. But we can at least make sure it's only going to be a few of those top kids. You get, like, everybody think they're going to be the top kid. That's not necessarily true. Like, you can go to a situation with the right mindset of not being the best player on the team, but being the best player for the team, and end up making a low lot further than most of these guys.
Now, you touched on something now. There are too many coaches who probably ain't qualified to be a coach for an AAU team. That's a good point. So they create something where the coaches, because everybody if you travel and play in certain tournaments, you got to be part of the AAU. I used to think AAU was just a name they use. It's a real organization. So if you're gonna be part of that organization, that's a good point. It should be something that these coaches should go through, some type of training or something.
Well, I think they have different programs out there for AAU for coaches to go through these training systems, but it's not effective because it's like, who's gonna sit down and look at that, as opposed to having coaches come in and demonstrate and have a real system in place where they can follow based on the age group and the talent level, skill level that they have. There need to be something in place for every single level of kid. There's a kid at this level, because players develop at different paces. So you get a kid now, if he get the right stuff now, he's gonna go past this kid. Because here's what I know: hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard.
Yeah.
So you get those kids that's working really hard, and they're working, and those kids who everybody done told that you already good, that you great, and you rank number 5. I seen these kids that work hard go past them. So we have to, and I say we, because all of us are responsible. That's why I've taken the position I've took for the last 25, 30 years, is because I saw the disparity. I saw it coming, and I've been preaching that, and that's why I focus on feet work. Everybody talk about it. You don't hear a lot of people in academies talking about feet work. Well, and even when other trainers talk about Bobel, you got to go Bobel. He go get your feet work right. Yes, because guess what? Everything you do in the basketball court has something correlated to your feet.
That's true.
And that's why a lot of these Europeans are coming over here. They got the soccer background, and they never got bored with the basics. And that's simple. That we got to get back to the basics, man. The basics of coaching, the basics of teaching, and the basics of developing. We have to get back to that, especially with our younger players.
Yeah. That's a good point. Okay. Talk about your passion then. Like, you as a professional player, because you can love the game, you can be good at the game, you can train and develop, but nobody talks about, when you at the gym by yourself 4 o'clock in the morning, or when you outside in the cold at the park, on a Sunday, 3 o'clock in the morning or 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So what were some of the other things that drove you, during that time?
A lot of people have this thing, directly or indirectly, what I call PDD. What does PDD mean? Purpose deficit disorder.
Mm.
A lot of people have that,
Mm-hmm.
indirectly or directly. Until you have a purpose or what you really want to do, even if you have the passion. See, passion and purpose are relatives. When you have the passion and you have a purpose or passion with the desire and the discipline to go with it, all things are possible, especially through God. So the passion would take you places and you would do things that most people won't because you have a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a passion for something, you're trying to figure out, how can I do more? You're always trying to figure out, how can I get better? How can I be a best version of myself? How can I be a better player? You're always reaching. See, that's why I keep talking about LeBron. He have a passion, he have a purpose, he have a desire, and he's disciplined. That's the recipe. Passion, purpose, desire, and discipline. And when you have those ingredients, whatever you want to accomplish in your life can be a reality. And what LeBron is doing, I keep going back to him because, man, I've never seen that before in my life.
Yeah.
And young guys, man, look at this guy. Duplicate what this guy's doing, even with his life. Even if basketball don't work out, right? You will have a platform, or you will have a navigational system that would take you wherever you want to go in your life.
Okay, that makes sense. I think a lot of these kids don't even know why they're there. You know, I see it all the time. Kids do it because their parents tell them to, or their parents want them to. These kids go to college, they don't know what to. It's like they've done all this and they make it to college, then they still don't even know what they want to major in, you know, what they're getting a degree in, or, you know, you put in all this time through middle school and high school and AAU and make it to college and then flunk out. So I think that feeds into what you're saying, like just that purpose, that passion and purpose isn't there. Like they don't know what they're doing it for. They just know they're doing it. I'm doing it for a scholarship, or I'm doing it to get to school. Okay, now you're at school. Now what you doing? And they still don't understand. I look at these kids in the transfer portal, and we know how it go. You in college, you transfer to another school. Some of your credits ain't transferring. So that scholarship time is running out. But how many credits you got? I was looking at a game last night. They said this girl was a red shirt sophomore. This girl's a senior in college. Like, what are you doing? Because I know you're still taking classes. If a person don't have purpose, or if they're able to recognize they don't have a purpose, how can they try to find that?
That's a good question. Purpose have to be within you. And there are some success nutritional facts that I peeped at that goes into purpose. And I want you to take a look at this right here. And I'm explaining to you, right? So first you got to want to hustle, right? 100%. Now, serving size is 24 hours a day. Serving per container, 365 days a year.
Mm-hmm.
You got to want to hustle. You got to have focus. All of these 100% of the time. You got to have persistence. Then you got to have the discipline to make it happen. Then you got to be able to deal with the failure, because it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
How you adjust to the failure? How do you adjust to when things don't work out? Then from that, you can't be afraid to take risks. You can't be afraid to take the shot. You can't the last shot. You can't be afraid to try.
Mm-hmm.
I once heard, if your dream is not scaring you, it's not big enough. Don't be afraid to take risks 100% of the time. Then you have patience, which I think this is golden right here. Because what happens a lot of times when things don't work out like we want them to, we get discouraged, we quit, or whatever. But if you got all these nutritions right here and you're able to make these adjustments, right? All these nutrients right here, these are all nutrients right here that goes into your purpose. And you be patient, it can happen. This is your success nutritional facts. Servings 24 hours a day. Serving per container 365 days a year. That's what can keep you connected